Day number one. We're going to be taking care of the wiring and kind of cleaning up the bag system. As you can see, just kind of this is what it looks like currently. This is kind of bouncing around, so I'm gonna take it off and put Dynamat on it. That way it's not rubbing metal to metal. I'm going to be securing the compressor. As you can see, that's kind of how it is right now, not held to anything. So I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to be fixing the wiring for the compressor because right now the fuse is burning up. I would assume that the wiring is not done properly, but I'm going to be checking that out. I have not taken it apart. I haven't really seen all the wiring on this car, so I'm going to be updating you on what it looks like. Let's go ahead and start it. So the first thing I have to do is get rid or remove the management system. It was mounted right here, and the lines were obviously going to those grommets. What I had to do is individually unplug the line one by one so I can mount it back from the side, as you can see right here. That way I don't mix it all up, because I wanted to get this thing out so I can work on it more. So that's the first step I had to do. Let's keep it going. So I started tracing out the lines just to make sure there's no cuts or anything like that. And this is the first thing I saw. People need to stop doing this. As you can see, it's kind of kinking this one wire. Damn near almost cut it. So I'm gonna put a little slit right here. That way it'll be sitting inside this grommet, so it's not just kind of pinching right here. I don't know if you can see the mark right here, but it's been pinching for quite a while. Damn near almost cut it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that. So after looking over the compressor wiring and then the management, I've noticed how long the wire is. People don't realize that you can actually like rewire these to make it shorter. These are intended to be in the front. Obviously the battery on the front is the most common. What I'm gonna do is rewire this wiring system and make it a lot shorter, so it doesn't have to travel to all these long wires just to get to the power that it needs. The shorter the better, in my opinion. I'm also going to fix that ground. It doesn't look like it's been sanded down underneath, so I would assume that would be one of the causes why it struggles to start. People don't realize the ground is very important in the car system. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. Like I said, I'm gonna sand it. I'm gonna shorten this up. That way you don't have all these excess wire here. Make it look a lot nicer. Slowly but surely, getting everything kind of lined up. I was talking about the ground earlier, and my suspicions were correct. The mating surface is not even sanded down, which you're supposed to. The best ground is bare to bare, not obviously bare metal from the plug to a paint. I'm going to go ahead and sand that down, bolt everything back. I did have the power wire already wired up. It's a lot shorter wire, 40 amp fuse. I like these type of fuses. They can handle a little bit more than the normal U-shaped smaller fuses, which are these. I only like these for low current applications, not for compressors. So I went ahead and replaced that. I'm gonna go ahead and do that grind and put everything back together. Before I bolt everything back, I just kind of want to show you what it's supposed to look like. Just go ahead and sand that down just like what I have here. I also went ahead and sanded down the terminals. So the best ground the better. So ran into a little issue when I was testing it out. It was kind of running longer than usual, and I can hear something whistling. So I started checking for the tank, for leaks, compressor, this and that, and I found out that the front of the compressor itself wasn't even bolted on all four corners, and it looks like this was turned clockwise, actually counterclockwise. It was supposed to be standing up. This part is supposed to be right here, but it looks like it's on the side. So somehow, I don't know if it's been taken off, or obviously the screws are not there, so it hasn't been taken off at some point. It looks like it was caught to the left, so now it's sitting sideways, and the screws were not even present. So I can hear a little bit of the air leak from here. So I turned everything back off just to make sure I took the fuse off, took the thing off, and I noticed, like I said, there's no screws, and this thing just pops off. So I'm not even really sure what's holding it together, other than probably pressure or maybe just the tension from both parts. But I guess we're gonna have to order a new compressor, because obviously this thing is done. The piston wall is pretty much all scratched up, all bent. So this is pretty much as bad. So, but that's how it is. So it's been a week later. The gauges that came with it didn't have any sensors, so went ahead and bought new boost gauge and wideband. So I'm gonna go ahead and rewire all that. Just wanted to show you. Yeah, they're all brand new. Comes with all the new sensors. I'll take everything out and swap it all out. Good morning, everyone. Early Saturday. Moon's still out. This one's not even out yet, but today we are going to extend the oil pressure harness right here. I'm going to be extending that to reach all the way in the bottom right here where the oil filter location is. It's kind of hard to see, but there's going to be a nut. I will show you once I get it replaced. Like I said, it's kind of hard to see right now, but it's where the oil filter right here. There's going to be a cap that needs to come off. So the oil pressure sensor sending unit will be right there. I'll go ahead and replace that. Go ahead and soak that in PB Blaster because it's going to be tight. But once I get that swap, I'll record again so you can see what it looks like. So I got the wire extended. I just used basic automotive wiring. Obviously heat shrink, solder, you know the deal. I have the oil pressure sending unit or the oil pressure sensor tightened up. Just use Teflon tape a little bit on it just to prevent from leaking. Overall, it's not too bad. So I finally got all the gauges installed. The oil pressure, wideband, the boost gauge, everything is functioning as you can see. I'm just letting it warm up just to make sure there's no oil leaks. Always got to make sure on that. I'll be moving on to the trunk setup tomorrow. I just want to make sure that these are all functioning properly. Overall, it's not too bad. Like usual, it just takes time, no rush, and do it right the first time. Here are the bolt plugs for the exhaust and the oil pressure. Obviously the small one is for the oil pressure. This one's for the wideband. Make sure you soak it in PB Blaster for a few hours or a day or two, because they are going to be tight and they are going to be kind of a pain in the ass to remove. So the PB Blaster helped. After a few tries of trying to take it off, they finally released. But overall, that's the two ones that I had issues with, or the toughest time to get out. But overall, everything is good. I got everything wired up, ran the wire. Make sure it doesn't touch this, because it does get hot. So I guess I try to avoid that. Kind of route it. And that is the oil pressure sensor. Yeah, zip tie everything up. Test for leaks. So far there's no leaks, so that's a good sign. And the gauges are done. Just a recap of what the trunk looks like. I'm gonna start doing the cover and such, just to kind of show you right now what it looks like, so you can see the before and after. It's pretty bare. Pretty much the carpet's kind of damaged, so I'll work with what I got. As you can see, it's all torn, but I will work with what I have and go from there. First order of business, I went ahead and took off the tank from where it used to be. I'm going to be unplugging that so I can build the floor and the wall. It's a lot easier without all these stuff in there. So I just wanted to show you where the progress. Let's get to it. So it's 5:30 a.m. Saturday. I actually decided to start working on it and get this thing done. As you can see, it's still nighttime. Raining, so I'm gonna start putting on the T-nuts. I kind of decided to go this route so it's easier to remove the panels if needed. Grade 8 T-nuts right here. It'll be 3 for the wall and then 2 for the compressor. These would be holding down the board itself to the wall or to the floor, the trunk itself. So I had to get longer one to compensate for the thickness of the wood. Overall, let's go ahead and start doing that. Show you what it looks like. Alright, I have the T-nuts installed. As you can see, they're mounted. This would make it a lot easier to remove the panels if it needs to be removed for any reason. Underside is the same thing. This would be holding the compressor. Yes, there is a little gap, but once I tighten that, that'll dig in a little bit more. So it's both sides. This part is what holds the tank. Sorry about that. The compressor is already bolted down, so you can see it's already mounted. So overall, once this rain stops, I'm gonna go ahead and start putting everything in, and I'll let you know what it looks like. So I got the wall and the floor installed. As you can see, that's kind of what it looks like so far. The management's right there. All the lines are going underneath. That's the one that's going to the tank. I'm gonna start mounting the tank and then putting the air compressor and get it to air up and see if we have any leaks. So I'm finishing up the trunk on the Evo. You might think that this is kind of don't belong here, but the reason being for making this is that if you make it a one piece, it would not go back in. So I had to make a little extension, so when everything is all in, then I can put that in and make it look one piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a hinge in it, paint it black, so everything blends in. So I got everything screwed down. So you can see I had to put some hinges. This is a very tight fit, so all it does is it pushes in all the panels as well, kind of make it all tight. But anyway, to even get this out, you will need a hook to try to lift it up. And then if ever it does need to come off, you can literally pull this whole assembly out without having to worry about getting stuck. And to put it back, conveniently sits there. So like I said, you got to put a hook. So overall, to me, looks good. Let me try to put it back. See? Looks like one piece. Overall, she is done. I also went ahead and fixed the AEM gauges, the wiring itself. I have the necessary wires for tuning pretty much ready here. So everything is plugged in, tapped into the cigarette lighter. I was going to run into the fuse box, but it was already tagged here, so I may as well just reuse that. But like I said, everything is pretty much ready. So I'll put everything back and start assembling the panels back together. Evo's finally done. I got all the gauges functioning properly. I did a little bit of touching up on the Android screen. I tucked away that little GPS wiring because it was just kind of flapping on top. You already know I got the wiring for the gauges all fixed and ready to go. Show you the trunk real quick. Let me open the hood. There's the oil pressure sensor. I have been checking it just to make sure it's not leaking. Obviously the wire, it's all neatly ran, along with the harness. Nothing hot's gonna touch it. Let me see, move it around. The boost gauge sensor is right there. Obviously the AEM wideband is underneath, running to the inside. Overall, it just took a little time fixing somebody else's work, but it was worth it looking at it and everything and seeing everything working. So that's the wrap. Just wanted to show you where I mounted the wideband. It's kind of odd that it's on the driver's side O2 bung, but I believe instead of the stock O2 sensor being mounted here, the old owner hooked it on the other side. But overall, I just had to kind of reposition it for it to read properly, but it wasn't too bad.
it all works out.
Since the battery has been unhooked for a while, I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick recalibration. Let's see if I can go down. And it'll ask you all these and things like that. I'll go ahead and take care of that. Level surface, wheels front straight, okay. Got one compressor, auto head sensors. Make sure nobody's close to it because it's going to go up and down. It'll initialize and start going up and down. But yeah, once it's done, it'll tell you that it's complete, but it'll take a while for it to do its thing, so just let it do what it needs to do, and that's pretty much all you need to do. So I was actually getting ready to edit and compile all the videos. I did, however, found an LED little strip that's blue, so got lucky on that one. I just went ahead and popped it on, so just to kind of give it a little accent lighting. It's kind of hidden there, so you won't even really see it. Probably see right there. So that's kind of what it looks like once it's all lit up. It's not fully nighttime yet, so, but kind of a cool little addition to the whole build. So yeah, LED.